Oh man, currently dark in my room while I'm recording because, well, don't really need a light source since this is going to be a solo episode. Hello everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another episode of Cosplay Bites, the show regarding cosplay, convention, and all the extra nerdy bits and bytes. Um, yep, solo episode this time around. I actually wanted to sit down with you guys for a little bit. This may be short, um, like even shorter than, well, we'll see how I fare with rambling on. But ugh, too much swallowing. Hang on. Coffee sip, coffee sip. Oh yeah, that's good. And we'll just get right to it. Yesterday, DC Comics held their yearly FanDome event for the second year in a row. Compared to last year, from what I initially remember, right off the bat, I think it was a lot better. Because I feel that, if I remember correctly, the first year that it happened in 2020, it was just like a full blown continuous stream the whole weekend. Like it started on Saturday, hit a certain point, and then it just it was just a rerun of itself. I think on Sunday, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this time around it was just a nice, very long. Well, I guess 3 hours really isn't long. 3 to 4 hours worth of content coming out on the DC Comics side of things. Truthfully though, they didn't really touch on the comics. This was more of a look at all of the other media properties slash element that they have in the pipeline and what's coming out soon, rather than talking about like the comics themselves. So it was actually, yeah, a lot of like cartoon shows, stuff that's already happening, and like retrospectives. But honestly, yeah, like I said, like, I'm just gonna run through all the stuff that happened as well as what I remember. So let me just scroll down my little table here of notes. So they kick off the show, and one of the major things they first show off is a final, at long last, like first look at the upcoming Black Adam movie starring Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and I can tell from like him speaking about the movie that he is very keen and excited to work on this. I think he actually had a hand in trying to get this movie off the ground, because I remember that this movie was just in the works for a very long time, and that like he claims that he feels that he was born to play the role of Black Adam, and they also got a lot of other like, I want to say like JSA era members coming in. So you have all all I remember from the casting was Pierce Brosnan, who I mostly know him as being James Bond at a certain point in time. He is going to be playing Doctor Fate, but then there are also other DC heroes appearing, such as you got Hawkman, you got Atom Smasher, and then I believe Cyclone, or some kind of wind-based superhero, so to speak. They showed a very tiny clip of the movie, which looks to be probably like the start of the movie, and it looks pretty brutal. Like it just showed two people exploring this cave, probably as part of some expedition, and then they started reading some of the scriptures on the walls and the floor. Shazam already pops up, and then boom, Black Adam is summoned, and then like a bunch of gunmen show up, and he just starts to pick one up, and then just he literally fries him to death. Like before you know it, the guy's a skeleton. So I'm very I think it'll be a very fun movie to take a look at. I mean, I'm not too big on the Shazam Black Adam mythos. I'm actually kind of curious as to why Black Adam is such a central, pivotal character. Like, I know him as either like a villain or like he's an anti-hero, but I'm not sure when or why he became so popular enough to be like, hey, let's make a movie out of him. I don't know. Speaking of which, sort of related, I'm wondering if the two movies will connect. But they showed a little BTS sizzle reel preview for the Shazam sequel called Shazam: Fury of the Gods, starring Zachary Levi and a whole host of other uh, cast members. I think the big reveal was that you have freaking Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu are playing the villains in this movie. I believe it's Hespera and Calypso. They're both going to be in the movie, as well as a third person. I forget her name, but so it's going to be like a trio of villainesses. I really enjoyed the first Shazam movie. Very lighthearted. Compared to the typical DC movie that you'd see. Um, so yeah, that's coming. And I was dumb. I didn't write down when these are coming out. I honestly don't know which. All I know and remember is that oh, excuse me, the Batman movie is coming out March 4th next year. I don't know what other DC movies are releasing in 2022. So, but we'll get to Batman later on because that was, of course, they saved that for last. So I literally had to sit through the entire convention live stream waiting for it to happen. But they went into a bunch of previews for like the TV shows on the CW. So there was like you got your Stargirl, you got Supergirl wrapping up its final season, which I am watching it, but like I don't know, it's just like the villain is very very weak, uninteresting. Like I really wish like they just could have had John Cryer Lex Luthor as the villain for this whole season because God did he steal the show in every single episode as the character. So, hang on. They showed I think the Flash is going into its eighth season. I fell off watching the Flash because it got too. It is too confusing to keep up with now. Honestly, I feel really bad because I love the Flash. I really do. Like I love the character, but it just got too crazy. And but he's going to have his iconic yellow boots finally for the last season, eighth season. Superman and Lois is getting a second season. That is one I'm very much excited to watch because I mean, like, holy shit, the quality of each episode was insane. And I firmly stand by that. Tyler Hoechlin is probably the best iteration of Superman on screen that we've had. Probably since, like, maybe Christopher Reeve, or maybe even Tim Daly Superman from the animated universe. So there was that. They had a panel with James Gunn and John Cena regarding the Peacemaker spinoff that came out of the recent Suicide Squad movie. That looks like a riot. I'll have to. I'm always being tempted to like get HBO Max because it is an HBO Max exclusive series. So if I want to watch that, I'm gonna have to buy it at some point. Then they showed, similar to the Shazam sequel, they then showed a similar BTS sizzle reel of the next Aquaman movie. Very excited to see that. It's being touted as like a globe-trotting adventure. It looks like Ocean Master's back, so I'm very interested to see if him and Arthur are going to be like teaming up for this grand adventure mystery sort of thing. But they all seem very excited. I'm digging the new suit that Aquaman's going to be wearing in the movie, so that should be also a very fun film to watch. Then they had a nice little panel sort of feature on Milestone Media, which did make a sort of return to form, I believe. And I just knew it. I didn't know the specifics of it, but I just knew that Milestone Media was important for the POC LGBTQIA spectrum of society and whatnot. So it was actually a black owned and creator driven subset of DC where they put out a lot of black centered superheroes in comics. back in the 90s, and they are the responsibility for bringing out mainstay superheroes like Static Shock and a bunch of other um, comics. Top of my head, they mentioned like Icon and Rocket. I think Blood Syndicate was announced to be coming back with a new run. They announced or they mentioned like heroes like Bumblebee, who I knew from Teen Titans, and then Mal Duncan, who I actually knew from Young Justice. But then they also announced that they are working on an animated movie as well as a live action Static Shock movie in the works over at Milestone Media. So very interested to see what that is like. Sadly, I'm not terribly interested in Static Shock. I did not get into him at all when he was in the animated series. Like when he had his own animated series. It was cool to see him cross over in certain episodes of like the Justice League animated series and whatnot, but yeah, that really just didn't grab me. Then they had a video game section where they showed off basically story trailers, no gameplay, like update or even for reels. So they showed off a new story trailer for the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game that Rocksteady is pumping out. It looks so freaking funny. It's sad. It's sadly being released for PC and the next gen, like PS5 and Xbox Series X. So I'm hoping next year is when I finally am able to cop one because that's when it's coming out. Um, in addition, they also showed WB Montreal's Gotham Knight game, which when they first revealed, they showed off gameplay of it, and I don't even remember what it was like, but I don't know if it grabbed people enough. But so you got Gotham Knights, where it's basically doing the Court of Owls story arc from the first arc in the New 52 iteration of Batman, and so you take control of Tim Drake, Jason Todd, Nightwing, and Batgirl. In this story, so I'm very much looking for. I want to try both of them out, very much so. Peacemaker, I already mentioned. They also had a short little teasers previews with some concept art showing for the upcoming Blue Beetle movie that they're making. Again, similar to Black Adam, I'm not sure at what point in time did Blue Beetle become so popular that they're like, oh, let's make a movie about him. Like, he just didn't seem like a very high tier, high end hero to make a movie about. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I didn't feel like I don't know. But I mean, the directors and the actor are very excited to bring him to life. So that's always wonderful to see. Same thing with Batgirl. That's going to be a very interesting movie to see how it plays out. Then they had Ezra Miller show up. Showing a very, very brief teaser trailer for the upcoming Flash movie, which I am very excited about because of the teases, or I guess confirmation, that this is going to be a multiverse jumping movie, and for at some point, you have Michael Keaton's iteration of Batman, like from the first Batman movies, is playing a role in this Flash movie. And they briefly teased him with the long bat ears costume, and that was pretty much it. And I think they showed off what looked to be parts of that Batcave. So I believe that is coming out in 2023. That is a long ways away. Yeah, it's nuts. Similarly, jumping back to the TV side, turns out they had a very small, minimal Smallville reunion with Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum, who played Clark and Lex respectively, because apparently on that day, Smallville, the show, turned 20 years old. So that's... Man, we're getting old. My generation is getting old, and it's not pretty. So that was a nice little chat that they had with, I believe Tiffany Smith was moderating the small talk panel, and they had a bunch of other guests pop in from the show to extend like warm wishes and congratulations for the 20-year anniversary of Smallville. And I think that meant that the series currently has like a full series box set coming out, or it has been out. So then they had, let's see, Gotham Knight. Yep, already talked about. Um, they announced other shows in the works, or being planned out. So I believe like Young Justice is currently, or is soon going to have, its fourth season. Then there's like the currently Teen Titans season 3 going on. You got Doom Patrol's third season. Um, then they had this cute little, very, very super cute little, two cute things actually. They announced, Bat Wheels, I believe, which is more geared towards, preschoolers. But it's basically, I think from the looks of it, it turns the entire Bat world into what if every character was a car. So that's coming out at some point. And then there's also the DC's League of Super Pets, which also has Dwayne Johnson in it and Kevin Hart as Crypto and Ace the Bat Hound, respectively. And obviously a slew of other animal sidekicks to the classic heroes we know and love. One show that has me excited is being done by just oh my god, like an insane executive producer lineup of it's a Batman show called Batman Kid Crusader, being touted as basically more of Batman the Animated Series, but it's being done so like Bruce Timm is attached to it, as well as J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves, which is insane. So I'm very much interested in watching that. I imagine it will be on HBO Max because it did say it was going to be on Cartoon Network. So that I definitely want to look forward to watching. They had a nice little small talk about what makes Wonder Woman so special, because I believe this year she is celebrating her 80th anniversary. It was a talk between Patty Jenkins, the director, and Linda Carter, the original Wonder Woman. So it was a nice little talk regarding the character, as well as a confirmation / announcement that yes, Wonder Woman 3 is in the works. And I don't know, see how that goes. I just remember distinctly watching. One of my best friend came over at one point, and we spent the day together, and then we watched Wonder Woman 1984. And I remember her pausing the movie, or making me pause it, and we're just like explaining and trying to figure out the plot holes or the loopholes in the movie. So I mean, it is a fun, flashy movie, but I don't think the logic was really there at some point. And yeah, I'm wondering what this third one will be about and how it'll fare. Because the first one was in the First World War, second one was during the 80s. So now I'm wondering, is this going to be like caught up to present time when Wonder Woman 3 comes out? So yeah, there was that. And then, as I mentioned, they saved arguably the most anticipated part for last. They showed off the second trailer for the upcoming new Batman movie, starring Robert Pattinson as Batman, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, who, the more pictures I see of her from the stills, I'm just like, holy frick, she's so hot. Like, what the hell? Like, frick. Because it automatically feels like she's going to nail that role. So I'm very excited. Freaking Colin Farrell looks unrecognizable as the Penguin. It's so funny. I'm extremely excited to see this movie. I think it's going to be so good. It's not that far away. Only 5 months. Like early 2022 in March. So there's that. They announced other movies in the works, like a Catwoman animated movie called Catwoman Hunted. They announced another animated movie based Well, it is Injustice, Gods Among Us, which surprisingly it has Justin Hartley, who I only know as playing Green Arrow in the Smallville show, but he's playing this super pissed off dick version of Superman that goes all crazy in the game and comics. So there was that. There was some tease of a major comic event that they didn't really reveal. I think Jim Lee teased it at some point, but yeah. Then I mean, throughout the show, they had nice little moments showcasing a ton of like fan art and cosplays that people submitted. Very fun, very interesting to look at. Like, gee, there's talented folks out there. Um, and then I think other thing that I'm trying to think of and remember, they teased the upcoming Batman audio adventure that's coming to Spotify, which I am very much looking forward to listening in. I think it is Spotify exclusive, so I'll just have to start using that a little bit more. Sorry, I'm a full blown Apple guy, so like Apple Podcast has my soul at the moment. Um, I mean that's where I do all my podcast or get my podcast shows from. And let me think. I think honestly, I think that was pretty much it. Like all the stuff I wrote down. Um, I mean, I mean, some of the TV shows like I didn't care about. I don't know. Like maybe I'll watch Supergirl all the way to the end. It's just not interesting. Just the overall story plot of this season and the villain being very one note. Um, it's very far cry from the Lex Luthor iteration that we got. Like we announced, they showed off how like Legends of Tomorrow is gonna have its 100th episode. Okay, that's great, but I mean, like I dropped off of Legends a long time ago because it got way too campy for my taste. Even like holy smokes, that was as campy gets. Um, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for the DC FanDome. Nice transitioning throughout the various like virtual domes. Um, I think they announced that freaking Cam Newton has a hat line, and he's going to be making Superman themed like hats or branded hats. Very weird. Puma getting a Batman collaboration, which is sick. Great. I need more Puma shoes in my life because they're very fashionable. Um, and honestly, that's pretty much it. Um, Solid presentation. I loved the way how it was done. Like I was at first watching it on my laptop, but then I just scrolled over to YouTube and saw, oh, their YouTube channel streaming the whole thing. Boom, done. I'll just watch it there. Um, yeah, I'm curious to see if other. Well, I mean, the only thing I could think of is I'm wondering if Marvel will do this sort of thing at some point, or are they just really relying on like D23, like the Disney censored expo, to like be their main expo because Disney owns Marvel. So I'm wondering if they're gonna try something or just stick to D23. We'll have to see. Um, I mean, for me personally, DC comic book wise, very much enjoying this current run on Nightwing. Like this new creative team, Tom Taylor and God, I forget the artist's name. I feel awful, but they are killing it on this run. Like the art is just phenomenal, and I am just over the moon that they're so far like just nailing the character of Dick Grayson as Nightwing. So I'm just very much looking forward to continuing reading. I know right now they're in the middle of a two issues of Nightwing are part of a giant like Batman event crossover that's happening. I'm just dealing with it. Fine, solid books. solid art all around. There are other series that at first I was like, yeah, I'll watch them, or I'll read them, but then it's just like, well, I mean, it costs money, so I don't know. I'll have to see. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode of Cosplay Bites. All about DC FanDome. Very entertaining show to watch. I believe their stream is still available to watch if you missed it and wanted to watch it yourself. But just stay tuned for upcoming episodes. I may actually do another ask around for some of the guests that I have lined up to see if they have an opening in the next couple of weeks, leading into November. But yeah, hopefully this was an enjoyable episode for you all to listen to, along with my thoughts. And yeah, thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care.